Hello and welcome back everybody to the Foodbuild factory. Today we're going to take a look at the Quantum Brawler. This build is going to be a character that's solely relying on his mechanized power armor suit to survive. And the only moments when he's going to use a weapon is when he's pulling out his Fat Man to deal with the higher up enemies like Scorch Beasts and Sheep Squatches. But for the most part we're going to pretty much run over our enemies and punch them with our bare fists. So first of all I'm going to show you some gameplay, and after that's done I'm going to show you the build. So as you can see here, we're now trying to gather them up a little bit because yeah, they all seem to be still asleep and now they're slowly waking up, but they're not as crowded as I'd like to. And as you can see here, we're basically making use of a lot of things that aren't generally liked all that much. For example, the Tesla coils. Like, chances are everybody that uses a power armor has either the jetpack or the kinetic servo, no, not the kinetic servos, the kinetic dynamo or emergency protocols. But no one really runs around with the Tesla coils because usually they are pretty bad. But on this build, where we're all the time very close up, they synergize very well with our Tesla bracers and our mutations and everything. So when I went into this build, it was basically just a silly idea where I thought I'd have some fun and shit, but I thought I really needed time to take out even basic enemies. But as you can see, it's not as ineffective as I initially thought, and to be honest, it's one of the most funniest builds I've played in a long time. Even when you're going up against super mutants, it's not as bad as I imagined. Like, you can really take them down relatively fast. You just have to adjust a little bit in the way you're playing the game. Like, for example, one attack that really works well when you're going against targets with heavy R or something. You're going to sprint into them, and the last moment you're going to do a power attack. That way you're getting the damage from your paint frame as well as getting a power attack in. And also, one thing we're going to do is we have adrenaline equipped, so we try to always keep the fight running. And as you can actually see, the Tesla bracers, sometimes they don't do all that much, but they are noticeable. So you definitely see a difference when you're playing without them. What's pretty good about this build, it's very tanky. As you can see, we didn't bother with our health so far. We have one rank of Home Survivor on. So if we're really going down below 20% health, we do get a stim pack injected, but most of the time we're practically running around at like 30 to 40% health. We're not on particular, like we're not a low health build, it's just that this is how it ends up, most likely. I mean, one thing should be certain. You are not as effective as if you were without a power armor and would be using a unarmed weapon like the Deathglow Gauntlet or something. You're obviously going to take enemies down faster that way. But I think this is still in the sweet spot where it's not so slow as to be a real chore. So the gameplay is pretty fluid still. And one thing is for certain, this build is hilariously funny. Like, as you can see here, punching Snalligasters with your bare arms, and I overall just like the whole aesthetic of the build. Like these, all these blue tones and the purple headlights and everything. It's especially funny. The only thing where it really can be bothersome is when you're going against Scorch Beast, obviously, because your only method of attack is a Fat Man launcher, which in and of itself isn't that effective, and you're having a hard time hitting them. What you can do is just hit enemies on the ground with VETs to get your critical up, which should take like 5 hits or something. And then basically what you're going to do is you're shooting the Scorch Beast with your critical hits from the Fat Man, which can take pretty much 30 seconds or something like that, and is obviously ridiculous because you can see the mini nuke fly in a completely different direction, but it somehow magically ends up on the Scorch Beast. But well, anyways, I'm just here at the Devil's Backbone. I haven't unlocked the Huntersville location yet on this character, but we're going to be there in no time at all. So I'm just going to show you how the build does against super mutants. One thing that's fun about this build is you can actually do a lot with consumables. As you saw at the beginning of the video, the only thing I took was an unarmed bobblehead, because I think having one bobblehead per hour is really manageable. Like, this is a consumable that won't be a problem at all to maintain, and you really feel the 25% difference in damage. The only thing I occasionally take is a psycho buff, as you can see here. Our build also emphasizes this by having the perk on that you're not getting addicted to chems. As you can see here, the level 45, 48s, they're not that much of a problem. When it comes to level 68, they need some power attacks, but it's not that bad. Nothing better than a fist fight with a super mutant. If you wish to, you could also take a Nuka-Cola, a Nuka-Shine, which I haven't tried so far because I don't like the fact that you're getting teleported away at the end, but I think this could be fun, and maybe we'll try this when we're done here, which it should be fun. You could even go so far as to use the party boy or party girl perk, which makes it so that the Nuka-Shine would be 3 times as beneficial, I think. So you get 300 extra damage, 300%, which should be massive. At that point you shouldn't even feel all that much of a difference compared to other builds. Like, yeah, as you see, we're taking like 3 hits, basic hits, no power attacks, to take down our enemies. So it's really not that bad, and also you are going to carry a lot of grenades, which I deliberately not use at the moment, simply because I think they mess up the view for you. The frame rate gets a bit bad, and it's not that big of a problem when you're playing by yourself, but I think if I'm recording you won't see a lot. But it only adds further to the aesthetics of the build, especially if you learn to craft nuka grenades and nuka quantum grenades. Those things really feel very cool. Like if you mix them in with your build and show up somewhere at night and throwing them everywhere, it's a real light show. It gets really cool. Yeah, so we're going to try it. Nuka Shine, yeah, vintage Nuka Shine. And let's see. Yeah, that looks great. Well, that was a level 10. I think this dog we can overrun. The whole build is very wacky, and it really feels like it, which I personally pretty much enjoyed. I made this build and I had like, I really took my time with it, like 3 hours of gameplay or something like that. I really enjoyed it. So these guys you wanna kill because you want the mini nukes for once.
Science has made human.
Yeah, with Nuka Shine this really gets fun. Like as you can see, oh, I'm not sure what the second hit was, but I think we can take 2 power attacks, which come very quickly, to a level 68 super mutant. Aren't that bad. Like this goes fast. And by the way, we're just going to fight here until Nuka Shine teleports us away. And once that's done, we're probably just going to show you the build wherever I get to be. I'm not exactly sure how long it's going to take. I think we can look at our stats. Yeah, under a minute. Okay, you guys will get killed. And here we go. There's something in this, some things in this build, like especially mutations, that aren't really necessary, but just add to the wacky flavor. Like if you take radioactive isotope or electrically charged, I think it's called. Those mutations, they don't do all that much, but if you're crowded, which happens a lot with this build, and you get hit, you can combust. Like around you there will be these explosions, and they do a little bit of damage, and it's oftentimes it is enough to kill off some of the enemies you leave out, and that's just going to help with your adrenaline. Well, I think we can take a look at our build now, and then we call it a video. So, in strength, we're completely maxed out. We have Traveling Pharmacy, Iron Fist, Pain Train, Incisor, and Martial Artist. I haven't actually checked if the last 2 perks really affect our unarmed build, but I feel like they do. Traveling Pharmacy, you can obviously go for anything here. It's just that on this character I had a lot of stim packs especially, so I went for it, but feel free to take whatever you want here. The thing is, we want our 15 strength. In Perception we only have 1 point, and I choose to take Grenadier. Fire in the Hole would be another choice that's not all that bad, but Grenadier is better. It actually makes it possible that you sometimes can throw grenades at Scorch Beast and hit them mid-air, which won't kill them off, but it's nice if you're just waiting for them to land, so you can do something in the meantime. We do have a lot of endurance for once, because we want to be tanky and we want to sprint a lot. And as endurance is pretty much saying how much AP you're running is going to use up, this also helps you with your fusion cores, because you're taking up less action points for sprinting, which in fact means less drainage on your fusion core. Here you can pretty much do what you want. I've chosen Cola Nut for the whole theme that you're like this Nuka-Cola addict, and it's a good way of healing, especially getting AP back. Chem Fiend, this is simply because I found that oftentimes Psycho buff can be really helpful, and having a bit longer duration on it, makes it really usable. Like, you can really, if you're only focusing on one chem to keep you alive and to always use when you're in a fight, it's really not that hard, even though I'm not a fan of consumables usually. Life Giver is a no-brainer. I know some people don't like it, but well, it's just a little more extra hit points. Fireproof, yeah, simple. This is basically pretty good on any build. And Good Doggy, this is another one where you can basically put anything, it's just for the convenience. Lone Wanderer at rank 3. You could go rank 4, but rank 3 is enough for our means, and yeah, feel free to do whatever you want here. I just thought that the AP refresh and the less damage is worth it on this build. In Intelligence we do have 5 ranks of Demolition Expert. This is enough. We don't need more. As I said, you can complement your build really well with grenades, and most importantly you want a Fat Man for dealing with Scorch Beasts and Sheep Squatches, which I know the Fat Man isn't as good as it should be in this game, but if you have a 2-shot one, or earlier I used the Junkies one, and it really works. Like, I think 3 mini nukes for a Scorch Beast that's a lot, but you're not seeking out Scorch Beast with this build. You just have your 5 mini nukes on your character, which you can carry simply because you have a lot of strength and don't carry any weapons except for the Fat Man, and you only have this on you for the case that a Scorch Beast surprises you. You're not actively seeking them out. Onto agility, here we have Action Boy, Marathoner, Through Hiker, yet another perk which I say choose what you want, but you want a lot of Nuka-Cola with you, and therefore Through Hiker is probably a good choice. 1 rank of Born Survivor. If you watched the video, you've probably seen it proc a few times, most likely during the ghoul fights, and due to our tankiness this is enough. Like, 1 Stimpack at 20 health, this will be enough to keep us alive. Also 1 rank of Adrenaline. You're simply not going to need more than that. It's just a nice damage boost, and it's noticeable once you're going on against ghouls or anything, but investing more into Adrenaline is up to you. As I said, if you don't have a problem with Through Hiker, with carry weight, you can dish out Through Hiker and put those points into Adrenaline, no problem. Luck, on this build Bloody Mess is more important than ever before, probably. Yeah, no brainer. Ricochet, this is absolutely not necessary, but I think it's a lot of fun, and the thing about this build is you really want to feel like your mechanized power armor suit is your weapon. Like, I deliberately chosen perks and stuff that really emphasize this, that you're running around in tank, and Ricochet, this little ping sound that it makes when it's proc, really adds to this flavor. Like, it's hard to describe, but I really advise you to give this build a shot. It's a lot of fun, and Ricochet, what it does, it just gives you a chance that enemies' shots that I fire at you reflect. You don't use this for the damage that the ricochet does, but simply because you're avoiding damage a little bit. Class Freak, well, on this character we have a lot of mutations, and Class Freak is just, in this case it's useful, let's say it that way. Last is Starch Jeans, no brainer. And now I'm going to show you the effects. Well, we're still under the effect of a bobblehead. Our helmet has the targeting matrix, fortifying VATS accuracy, which is not real, doesn't do anything for us on this build, but it's just a leftover from a recent build, and in this case you don't need anything specifically on your helmet. Adrenal Reaction, Bird Bones, Electrically Charged, Marsupial, Speed Demon, Talons, Twisted Muscles, and Unstable Isotope. Well, I could go through them, but basically you're getting a lot of agility, you're getting jump height and movability through Speed Demon. Talons and Twisted Muscles both affect our unarmed damage and add bleed damage and everything. The bleed damage especially synergizes very well with the Tesla coils that we have on our arms. And that's about it. So last thing I'm going to show you is the... well, I could show you, but honestly it's not that spectacular. Our legs are currently unmodified. Obviously you want hydraulic braces, not hydraulic braces, kinetic servos, or I think there's a modification that enhances strength, which would be cool. The arms have Tesla braces on them, and the torso is coiled, so it has Tesla coils, which you can't see sadly, but you see their effects. So everybody, that was the Quantum Brawler. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time.